I'm Chewy Fangirl. I fangirl over and you just listen. On week 1 of the best and worst romances, we took a look at fantasy romances. On week 2, we did high school drama romances. Today we're going to do Christian romances, a religion I know very little about, since I grew up in a Jewish home. So excuse me for a moment as I do my research. Okay, this is specifically romances that have to do with adultery. What adultery is a person who has sex with someone who isn't their spouse. This means teenagers. So, what are these films? Easy A versus Saved. In the red corner, we have Saved, and in the blue corner, we have Easy A. I chose these films because while Mean Girls described a typical high school and a teen's life, Easy A and Saved looked at a more religious school types and how love and sex applies. Now, Easy A is not my favorite film, but I enjoy watching it whenever it's on. On the other hand, a friend of mine asked me to watch Saved since I had seen Easy A and wanted my opinion about it. In one sentence, I didn't like it. And let me explain why. We'll start with the protagonist like we always do. Easy A's protagonist is Olive. She's a girl who no one really cares about, just a high school student with a bitchy best friend and no boyfriend for her to hold in love. You know, a girl we can relate to sometimes. One day, Olive's bitchy best friend, Rhiannon, what kind of name is that? And asks Olive if she would go camping with her and her parents. But Olive feels that she doesn't want to. Let's just say her parents are from a nudist colony who are made of hippies. Instead, Olive is going on a date with a boy. But not just any boy. An imaginary boy. So what does Olive do on this weekend instead? Well, this montage will tell you.
Oh, whoa. Do what you want, but you're never gonna break me. Since stones are never gonna shake me, yo. Oh, wow. I got a pocket full of sunshine. I got a love and I know that it's all mine, no. Oh, wow. Take me away, a secret place, a sweet escape, holiday.
After that average weekend, Ryan asked very inappropriate questions to get Olive to lie and said that she slept with this imaginary guy. Where our antagonist, Marianne, hears about this and spreads the rumor around the whole school. So, Olive's in a bit of a predicament. What is Saved protagonist like? This is Mary, our protagonist, who is one of the popular girls who's in an all-Christian school. She has a sweet boyfriend named Dean, and one day over the summer, Dean has a confession to make. He's gay. Good Christian kids are not homosexual, so there must be some way to cure him of the sick disease, by having unprotected sex. But even that doesn't work, since his father caught him keeping a Hustler magazine issue under his bed and is forced to send him to an anti-gay camp. Here's my problem when it comes to gays. I love gays, but when it comes to a Christian flick such as Saved, gays are viewed as the devil, which is an insult to not only gays, but my devil kind as well. I looked up Christians and gays, and ever since America's having a lot of gay right movements, things have changed in the religion. But I don't know, even today's Christian films, they still seem to make that mistake. Easy A also suffers from this problem, except the story takes place in a public school. Olive has a friend named Brandon, who's afraid of the fact that he is gay and everyone makes fun of him. The principal even says that he's afraid to have him at the school. This isn't the age where being gay is uncommon anymore. We're in the 21st century now, so start acting like it. One day after noticing that Mary has been puking a lot, she decides to go to the drugstore and get a pregnancy test. And uh-oh! Looks like the good little Christian girl got pregnant. Another problem I have with this film is the idea of teens getting pregnant. It's been done before, but here's how I feel about it. Teens are stupid, okay? They don't know what it feels to actually feel in love with someone. Therefore, they can screw anyone they want, not knowing the consequences of what could happen, including getting pregnant. But the reason I'm so against this idea is because teens love gossip. And if you're sexually active, or worse, pregnant, your reputation goes down the toilet. That's why I feel teens are so stupid. Why tell anyone that you did something with your partner with anyone? It's not their business, only yours and your partner's. This is normally where I start talking about the antagonist, but both Easy A and Saved don't have a simple antagonist. What I mean is, when it came to Mean Girls, we knew the plastics were the antagonist. When it comes to Hunger Games, we knew the Capitol, the Game Makers, and President Snow were the antagonist. In both Easy A and Saved, there are constant shifts of who the antagonists really are. Easy A starts off with Marianne, and the Christian Club being the antagonist. since Marianne is the one who spread the rumor and caused Olive's reputation to collapse. The whole movie is about geeky guys who no one likes offering gifts to Olive in order to say that they have done something sexual with her. So one night at a party, Olive and Brendan pretend to have sex in the host of the party's bedroom, and everyone in the school hears about this, even Rhiannon. Rhiannon then becomes the antagonist because Olive didn't tell her that she was going to move to one guy to the next. Like, that's really the problem. Honestly, Rhiannon is the worst ally I've ever seen in a film. She's rude, mean, and has no likable qualities to her. Then, during the second half of the film, Marianne and Olive become friends because Olive notices that Marianne is crying outside the counseling office and tries to figure out what is wrong. Boyfriend's parents have gotten a divorce. The worst thing that can happen to a Christian family, right? But every guy is saying that they have slept with Olive, so Micah, Marianne's boyfriend, is in the hospital and finds out he has chlamydia and says he got it from Olive. Marianne finds out and bitch slaps Olive across the face. But the truth is, Micah has been sleeping around with Olive's favorite teacher, Mr. Griffith's wife, who's also the school counselor. Olive finds out, and instead of telling the school board what has happened, she tells the counselor that she is willing to lie in order to keep her secret safe. So in conclusion, the whole majority of the cast is the antagonist to Olive, except for Mr. Griffith, her family, and the boy that she has a crush on named Todd. In Saved, our starting antagonist is Cassandra, the only Jewish girl at this all-Christian school who's a delinquent who got kicked out of public school. She just does weird stuff to piss people off for no adequate reason.
Hallelujah, bear witness.
After finding out that Mary is pregnant, she crashes the Christian club meeting that her best friend Hilary Faye is hosting and tells her that she no longer believes in God, faith, or Jesus. They no longer become friends, and her reputation as a popular girl has gone down to the average Joe. During Christmas, Cassandra notices that Mary is acting very strange by wearing baggy sweaters all the time. Mary then reveals that she is pregnant, and Cassandra gives her some sympathy and takes her shopping at the hottest maternity store ever, with Hilary Faye's brother, which is Cassandra's boyfriend. His name is Roland. When Hilary Faye finds out that Mary is hanging out with Cassandra, she becomes the antagonist, along with the rest of the Christian jewels, the popular girls, until the very end of the movie where the school has been vandalized and everyone blames Cassandra and Mary for doing so. The police even search through their lockers, finding a can of spray paint. But Cassandra and Mary never actually vandalized the school. But Cassandra's expelled anyway from yet another school. Before prom, Hilary Faye has noticed her credit card has been maxed out, for no apparent reason. On her credit card bill, there is a spray paint can. There is even a receipt in the back of her van that she drove to prom. Is embarrassed and tries to take her posse, but the posse is now against her, making them on the protagonist's ally side again. Next category is the love interest. Both films have a very slow approach when it came to this subject. In Twilight, we obviously knew that Bella was attracted to Edward, but both Easy A and Save take their time to develop the love interest, barely even seeing them until the last 20 minutes of the movies. In Easy A, there's Todd, who is Olive's childhood friend. When they were in 8th grade, they were forced to play 7 Minutes in Heaven, but Todd felt that he wasn't ready to make a move on Olive, so Olive promises to lie and say that they kissed during the game. Cut to current time, Todd is the mascot of the school, as well as work at the Lobster Shack. Olive and a boy that she knows are in a parking lot of the Lobster Shack while the boy makes a sleazy move on her, and Olive tries to defend herself. Olive leaves him and Todd finds her and offers her a ride home. They talk about the past and Olive reveals that she did have feelings for him. After Olive's problem has been wiped out, which I'll talk about later, she and Todd become a couple. In Saved, Dean was sent into rehabilitation, so we don't see him for a while. So who could the love interest possibly be? Well, a new boy named Patrick has transferred to the school, and he's clearly interested in Mary, but Mary's still wishing that Dean is straight. Patrick tries every move in the book, but can't seem to get to her, until the end where they go to prom for some reason, because, if I went to prom with any random guy, we automatically become a couple, right? I mentioned that both of these stories deal with adultery, so let's see how the movies dealt with the problem. I call this category the resolution. In Easy A, there is a really strange point of view. Most films we always see current time, and we're following the character through multiple events. This one's more of a reflection story. What I mean is, it looks like they were following the characters around, but it's actually past tense since Olive is telling this story through a webcam that we're watching of her with the start of the problem and the conclusion of how it worked out. Olive gathers up the guy she pretended to sleep with and asks all of them if they can tell the school the truth since everyone is trying to get rid of her. Unfortunately, none of them agree to it. Thus, Olive gives them a plan. Will announce her confession through a pep rally, but first, an awesome song. After the song, she tells the school to go to this website so everyone thinks she'll bang someone, but actually reveal the truth of her story. Mr. Griffith is now in an unstable relationship with his wife, and Brendan can live freely as a gay man. And everyone is back to normal, and now everyone knows the truth. And say, not a lot of people deal with Mary's pregnancy how you would normally expect a teen pregnancy to go, other than Cassandra's reaction and Mary's mother's boyfriend who wants to send her to rehab or to abort the baby. Her mother is pro-life, and thus it is said that Mary will have this baby. Everyone at the school, even the staff, is like, okay, so she's having a baby. Let us pray. I'm not sure if that's how a Christian school acts in such a situation, but this is a weird reaction. Mary barely has a reaction when she finds out that she is pregnant. She's like, oh my god! And then the next day she shrugs it off. I mean, yeah, we see her go to Planned Parenthood, but most of the story focuses on her, Cassandra, and Roland sabotaging Hilary Faye, and not the drama of the actual teen pregnancy or actual pregnancy flick at all. It's just like Mean Girls, except a very boring version of it. Oh yes, and I forgot to mention her water breaks on the day of the prom, so looks like no one's getting lucky tonight. The two remaining Christian jewels, Cassandra, Roland, Dean, and Patrick, get to see the baby and live happily ever after. Well, Easy A has some funny moments such as this one here.
Olive, sweetie, there's a young man here to see you. He said something about asking for your hand in marriage.
Oh, happy day, Mama. Oh, I thought I was gonna have to spend my dowry on booze and pills to numb the loneliness.
It handled the subject of adultery very well. Saved, on the other hand, didn't tell the greatest message to teens. If they wanted to be a regular comedy flick, then they should have forgotten about the teen pregnancy in the first place, since it's barely the focus. If you want a good story about teen pregnancy, you're better off reading The Pregnancy Project, since it's based off a real story. I also don't like how Save made the statement of being gay, since it comes off a little harsh. In Easy A, Brandon runs away from home, falling in love with another man, and is free to be gay, and no one judges him anymore. So, overall, Easy A wins this fight. So, what's the category for next week's Romance War? Anime. Till then, I'm Chibi Fangirl, I fangirl over it, and you just listen.
I wanna be that with you, baby. I wanna be that with you, baby. Do you understand what I need from you? Just let me be the girl to show you everything that she can be is everything that I can be. I wanna be my turn. Let me let you know that I can. Promise that I won't do that. So, but say the time and place, 'cause you make me wanna misbehave. I wanna be there, make that look